I just finished editing the video you're about to watch, the real review here, but before it starts, I just need to say, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. He passed away yesterday because of colon cancer, and I didn't expect it to hit me as hard as it did. Like, I heard the news, I thought it was a joke at first. Then I looked it up on some website, and it turned out to be real, and I'm not happy about that at all. I mean, of course not. Chadwick Boseman, I am Black Panther. It's such an important movie for obviously for young kids seeing representation of black superheroes on the screen, and I I mean I love Civil War. It's possibly my favorite MCU movie. I enjoy Black Panther. I've enjoyed every MCU movie he's been in, and Da 5 Bloods is one of my favorites of this year. He was great in that too, and he was 43. He was also in 42 as Jackie Robinson. I've yet to see that. And he, over the past 12 or something years, he's made such an impact. Everyone knows who he is. And I think it's the shock value that really makes his death hit hard. So now, it's not to get too emotional, but getting into the review, rest in power, rest in power, Chadwick Boseman. Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe, dropped yesterday on Disney+, and in this, Candace and Vanessa are abducted by aliens, and Phineas, Ferb, and the whole gang must venture into space to save her, with some help from Dr. Doofenshmirtz. It may come as a surprise to you, but this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. Phineas and Ferb was my favorite show as a kid, and I'd say it's still my favorite cartoon, or at least favorite that I've watched all of. And being a fan of the show really helped because a lot of this relies on nostalgia, which isn't a bad thing. Within the first 50 minutes we get a song, iconic lines, Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated! And all our characters return, and I like how they managed to let all these characters return without it feeling very forced. You still feel like you're in this world with them in the tri-state area. I think that's what it is, if I can remember correctly. All the voice acting here is just as great as it was in the show. There are a few cameos which I didn't even catch watching. I'm not really that good with picking up on separate voices of unless it's like a massive celebrity, but like Thomas Sanders, the Vine guy, he was in this. He played the alien talk show host. I didn't even know that. But I have zero complaints with the voice acting, and they use some of the old jokes, but they all still land and they don't exactly feel forced. All the jokes, and there are some new jokes too, and I'd say like 90% of them work. Obviously the animation is great, it looks exactly like the show. We don't have this weird 3D animation, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised if that happened within the next 10 years or so. I really hope it doesn't. But I like how it still, I know this seems kind of weird, but I like how it still looks exactly like the show. I think the main problem I have with the movie is that they move the attention to Candace. And it's kind of one of those things where you take a side character and you put them as the lead, and it doesn't always work as well. Now this movie still worked, and I still really enjoyed a lot of this movie, but that is my main problem. There's a reason why this show was called Phineas and Ferb and not Candace, because Phineas and Ferb were always the main attention, and Candace was the one going, I see what they do, but now I'm going to tell my mom, and then she doesn't see it. But when she's the main focus and they have to save her, well, her and Vanessa, Dr. Doofenshmirtz's daughter, it just felt like it was missing something. I still enjoyed this movie, as I said. It did feel longer than 90 minutes, which is good and bad. Good because I liked seeing these characters return. Bad because sometimes I was like, okay, let's kind of move on to, and get away from this scene. Some scenes ran along for too long, but they didn't go for 10 minutes too long, because of course this movie's under 90 minutes or something. But near the end, they try to shove a message down your throat. I won't say what exactly, but I feel like you can kind of guess with a show like this. But the main show didn't exactly do that, or at least they didn't make it as obvious. Here it's here's what we think about this, take it. And that did feel forced at the end. If you're a fan of this show, you will probably really like the movie. Now, I really liked it because I'm a massive fan of the show. I've seen some of the other movies too, and the Marvel ones, the Star Wars ones, I've seen them all basically, not in years, but I still really enjoyed this. It had some problems. I noticed the problems but I just had a lot of fun with it. And that is the most important thing, especially when you're taking a show that had already ended and you're still making movies off of it. You still have to make it feel like it belongs there. It doesn't feel like, here's another edition that we were going to use to make money. No, this one felt like there was some care behind it. The characters are on point, especially Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated!
Most of the jokes land, the songs are catchy, and if you're a fan of the show, you'll have a good time with it, and I did have a good time with it. I'm going to give Phineas and Ferb, the movie, Candace Against the Universe, it's a really long title, a B. Again, if you're a fan of the show, you will enjoy this. I've said that like 5 times, but I see that the people I follow on Letterboxd, all of them have given, I think except one, the same rating. 3.5 stars out of 5. Or in my case, that's a B here. So I kind of find it funny that everyone at least seems to agree, but I suggest this one if you're a fan of the show. If you're not, I mean, why would you watch not a spin-off, but like, why would you watch an extra movie of a show if you didn't watch the show? I mean, come on, common sense. But if you've seen Phineas and Ferb, the movie, Candace Against the Universe, tell me what you thought of it in the comments down below. I really need to rewatch this one too, so follow me on Letterboxd for when I do that. I don't really know when. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.